Hello, hi everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So today morning there was a backup going on in SAP, so we did not have the session. So let me tell what is meaning of backup. So you guys are creating a lot of data in SAP. So we take the backup of the data and store in the database. So when we save the data in the database, if system gets corrupted, we can retrieve the data from the database. So that activity was going on today, and the data was nearly 18 to 19 GB. So it took time for the backup. That is the reason we did not have the session in the morning. Okay. So let me start today's session. So today's session we'll be discussing regarding the realization phase. So this is a part of the implementation phases. So first we discuss regarding the discover phase. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So till now, what we have discussed is we have discussed regarding the discover phase. Then we discussed regarding the prepare phase. Then last week we tried to discuss the explore phase. In the explore phase, we discussed how is the fit and gap analysis is going to work, and how are we going to gather the requirement from business. And based on their requirement, we are going to design the system, and we are going to conduct the workshops. And the input we get in the workshop, based on that, we are going to prepare the demos and go through the demos with business, and they will be seeing the standard SAP, and they will be giving their requirements to us. So we are going to map those requirements from business with the standard SAP. If anything is not going to happen or if anything is not feasible with SAP, then we are going with the custom things. So custom also we discussed regarding those are divided into 6 parts. That is RISIF. One is report, interface, conversion, form, enhancement, and the workflow. So these are the 6 interfaces or 6 custom types what we are going to see in SAP. So we will see that part in realize phase also. So if I go ahead and start the realize phase, which is today's topic. So what kind of things are we going to do in this realization phase, and what is going to happen in the realization phase? If you guys are showing the experience of 4 to 5 years and below 7 years of experience or below 6 years of experience, if anyone is asking you in which phase did you start working, or what was your role in your project, in the previous project, you can mention that you have started working in the realize phase. Because the people who are having say nearly 4 to 6 years of experience will be working in this realization phase. Okay, so before I ask or before I talk about the realization phase, let me ask you guys, what do you mean by realize phase? What is the meaning of realize or realization? We can call them as a realize phase, or some call it as a realization phase. So what is the meaning of realization in your aspects? You can answer in the chat. You can unmute yourself and answer.
Having a clarity.
Okay, having the clarity. Any more?
Realizing some of the mistakes or some
Okay,
conflict issues which we have noticed
okay,
during the explore phase or this prepare phase or discover phase.
okay, okay. So let me tell what is a realize phase and what is SAP terminology of realize. So realization is nothing but you are going to create or start working in system and show the reality to the business. So till now in the explore phase, what we have done is we have just done the paperwork and we have spoke to business, we have shown SAP system to them, we have conducted some demos, all those things has happened in the workshop. Coming to the realize phase, we guys are going to start building the SAP system and bring it to the reality. When I mean reality, you are going to hand over the system to business for checking. So here in this realize phase, implementation partner, all the consultants in the implementation partner, and all the SMEs from business will work together. Will work together in system.
Venkatesh, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
So before realize phase, aren't consultants involved in any of the phases?
In before realize phase, consultants are involved. That is in explore phase. Most of the experienced consultants are going to be in explore phase. So in some cases, there might be a junior consultant also working in explore phase. That depends on the project level or when you are getting onboarded. But in explore phase, we gather the requirement and understand the fit and gap analysis. So we need an experienced consultant who has more than 6 years experience. Because if you have worked in 2 to 3 end-to-end implementation, when I say end-to-end implementation, from realize phase to the go live phase, or from explore phase to the go live phase. If you are mentioning that you have worked in 2 to 3 implementation project, then you will get hired in explore phase. If you're showing that you have worked in one end-to-end implementation, then you will get hired in realize phase. That depends on the experience and the data what you're giving in the resume. That depends in which phase are you going to enter. Okay.
Okay, thank
Now,
you.
first thing what is going to happen in the realize phase is you are going to start doing the configuration in system. So what all we have seen in the level 1, so you're going to bring that to the reality with the business. So first thing what is going to happen here is the baseline configuration. So what is a baseline configuration? The baseline configuration is nothing but the enterprise structure, the master data. That is a baseline configuration. So what happens is you have different types of modules in SAP. So we are working on MM, and there will be EWM consultants. There will be a sales and distribution consultant, a PP consultant, a finance consultant. So everyone will be working individually. So when I mean individually, first the finance consultant will enter. He will create the company code, and he has its own enterprise structure. Like under company code, you will have the controlling area. Under controlling area, you will have the chart of accounts. Under chart of accounts, you will have the cost center, profit center, GL accounts. So these are the enterprise structure for finance. Then after finance gets completed, then the MM consultant will come into picture. He is going to create the plans, story location, purchase org from MM side. Parallelly, the sales people will be working on their own by creating the sales organization, distribution channel, and division. That is their enterprise structure. Then finally, you will have the EWM consultant who is going to configure the storage type, storage sections, storage bins, all those things. So these all are going to come under the storage location and the warehouse number. So each and every consultant is going to work individually and build this enterprise structure on their own. Once they have their enterprise structure built, they will start combining all those. So initially, you will just create the plant, store location, purchase org, and keep it aside. Finance will create the company code, controlling area, and those stuff, and keep it aside. When everyone's enterprise structure is built, then you take all the individual entities and link them using an assignment. So what we did in creating an enterprise structure, we created the company code individually, plant, store location, purchase org individually, And then we had some node called assignment. There we have done the assignments. So that assignment, when the assignment is going to happen, then all the consultants, all the module people are going to interact to each other and create an enterprise structure of the business. Till now, we have discussed only the enterprise structure of MM, and coming to reality, we are going to create a big enterprise structure of complete business. When I say complete business, all the modules are getting interlinked here. So that is the baseline configuration. Once the baseline configuration is confirmed, once the baseline configuration is in place in SAP system, then you hand over the enterprise structure to business. When you're handing over the enterprise structure to business, you're going to explain everything and hand over to them. And that also varies from methodology. If you are working in activate methodology, you are just going to show them the enterprise structure and system, how it looks, and go ahead with the other topics. But if you are working in agile methodology, you are going to build the enterprise structure in system, move that to the quality system, hand over the enterprise structure to business. So business will check everything. And if they give a go ahead, or if they give a sign off, only then you will be moving to the next topic or next configuration. So that is the difference between activate and agile methodology. Okay, after you complete with the baseline configuration, you will start with a complex configuration. So complex configuration is completely all the advanced configuration like automatic account determination. Then you will have this inventory management. Then you will have this STO configuration, subcontracting configuration. So all the other remaining configurations will be done in the complex configuration. And more complex configuration is one module getting integrated with other module. So for example, we spoke about automatic account determination, which is getting integrated with finance. We have seen STO process integrating with finance and SD, subcontracting with PP. So inventory management with EWM. So each and every topic which is getting integrated with other modules are the complex configuration. Apart from that, if we have identified any RISEF, so I said that RISEF will be identified in the explore phase. So in some cases, in the explore phase, if they feel that this is not going to be a RISEF, and if they feel that it's going to be a RISEF in realize phase, they can still add. So when the bidding process is happening in the discover phase, they will confirm, the implementation partner is going to confirm that how much percentage is going to be standard or how much percentage is going to be custom. So based on that, the billing happens to the partner. So if they are not identified the RISEF in explore phase, they can still go ahead and add that in the realize phase. Okay, so these are the main things which is going to happen in the realize phase. Then the unit testing is going to happen. So what is unit testing? Unit testing is nothing but the consultant testing his own configuration himself. If the configuration which is done in the SAP system is working fine or not. He is going to test himself before he hand over the solution to the business. So these are the three main activities which are going to happen in the realize phase. So why we are covering this part here is a lot of questions has been come up from business or implementation partner asking, what are the activities you have worked in the realize phase? And how did we do that? And what is the series? So you can tell that we have done the baseline configuration, that is nothing but enterprise structure. Then after that, we have come with a complex configuration, which covers the advanced configuration and the RISEF part. And we also done that unit testing is going to happen parallelly. You are not going to do the unit testing after you complete the complex configuration. For example, when you do STO configuration, you test it individually. When you do configuration of inventory management, you do individually. So once the configuration is done, you're going to do testing on it. So that is called as the unit testing. Okay, so these are the three major activities what you're going to do in the realize phase. Okay, let me take a quick pause here before I move further. Any questions here? Okay. If no configuration, sorry, if no questions, then I'll move further and discuss something regarding the landscape of SAP system. So let me reshare my screen. So before I move further, I want to discuss something regarding the landscape. So before you enter into the project, before you enter in the realize phase, you will get the access of SAP system from the basis team. So basis team is the team who is going to give you the access for SAP. They're also called as security team, or they're also called as infrastructure team. So listening these words, you should not get confused when you're into some project. So these three teams are going to work for access part. If someone does not have the access, normally we call them as basis. Some project call them as security, some project call them as infrastructure. Okay. So if you don't have the access, you don't want to ask whom you should reach out to. You should be asking the question, whom should I reach out in the basis for getting the access of SAP? Okay. So when implementation partner is decided that they need to implement SAP for this business, and business has decided that they want to implement SAP, first thing what they're going to discuss is how the system landscape should look. So normally what happens in SAP, you will have the development system. So this is the first system what you get, the development system. For example, I can call it as, okay, let me explain that later. So here in this development system, what you do is you do the complete configuration, or we can call complete design is going to happen here. So when I say design, you are only going to do the SPRO configuration here. Apart from this system, you are not going to do any configuration using SPRO in any other system. So only in development system, you will be doing the SPRO configuration. Okay. Then you have the second system, which is called as the development quality system. So here what happens, here you are going to create the master data. Here the actual testing happens. Okay, in the development system, you are going to do the configuration. You are going to use SPRO here. You are not going to create any master data in this system. Zero master data in this system. We are not authorized to create any master data in this system. And in development quality, you are going to create the master data. So now you will have a question. If we do the development, if we do the configuration, if we do the design in this system, and if we create the master data in this system, how are we going to map this master data and the configuration? So assume that this is one system. I will name the system as ED1, the development system. This is one system. So now how I'm going to divide this development and development quality is based on the client. Okay. So initially when we select SAP using a login pad, you will be seeing an option called client above. So currently we are using 100. In the client 100, you are going to create the configuration of the design. Okay. When you're moving to development quality, the basis team is going to create one more client called as 140, for example. The system is same, but the client is different. When the client is different, what all you do here, that is not visible here. So how should we make that visible in the system? So we have a concept called the TR, the transport request. You would have seen how the transport request looks. So whenever you do some configuration, a pop-up will get generated asking you to save in a transport request. If you go inside that transport request, you will be able to see what all you have configured under the transport request. Okay, so let me show that part also. Give me a second. So all the configuration, what you're going to do is going to get stored in a transport request. So using that transport request, you can move the configuration from one system to other system, or one client to other client. So that is the reason we use transport request very important, or very carefully, or I can tell very carefully, we use that very carefully. So here, this is a client. So we're using on client 100. If I log into the system, if you do any configuration, for example, if I do any configuration, if I go to SPRO, enterprise structure, assignment or definition, create a purchase organization. If I save, this is the transport request. So this transport request will get saved in your name. So whoever is creating the transport request will get saved in their name. So 1451, for example, I click enter. This gets saved. So now to open the transport request, I go to the transaction C09, SE09 is the transaction to see the transport request. So put your name, click on display. So this will show all your transport request, what you have in your name. So normally in business, what happens? They create individual transport request for each configuration. If you're working on enterprise structure, you will have an individual transport request. If you're working on master data, then you will have individual transport request. Why we do that is, if you want to move only enterprise structure to the other system, you can do that. If you're doing everything in a single transport request, what all you do, everything will get moved to the other system. So if you want to do individually, then go ahead with different transport request. You know how to create it. You will have a create icon to create it. Now here you can see, I have a transport request for enterprise structure. I have a transport request for master data. Here you have the plus icon. I click here. This will show another number. So this is the transport request, and this is a customization request. A child TR. This is a parent TR. This is a child TR. If I expand this also, so here you will see all the activities what you have done. So you have to start from below. So you have assigned the plant to company code. You have assigned the purchase order to the plant, created the plant, created the store location, created the purchase org, created the company code, You have assigned the purchase software company code, purchase group, plant parameters. So these are the activities what are captured in this TR. So if you want only these config to move to the other system or other client, you can copy this TR. And one more thing, if you are moving just from one client to other client, you don't want to release the TR, because once you release the TR, that TR is closed. You cannot capture any changes in this TR. So if you are moving the transport request, if you are moving the configuration from one client to the other client, in that case, you don't want to release the TR. If you are moving the TR from one system to other system, I'll explain what is the system difference. If you're moving the data from, or if you're moving the configuration from one system to other system, then you need to release it. So to release, you need to select this child TR first. You see a truck icon here. If you click on this will get released. Now it is not released. As soon as it is released, you will have a tick mark here. So that is the indication stating that this TR is released or not. Once you release the child TR, you should also release the parent TR. Now it is released. You can see a tick mark. If you don't release a child and if you're releasing parent, it will not get released. So now if I click on parent TR and release, it will get resolved. It will get released. Okay. So this is how you should use a TR. So if you are doing a configuration in one client or one system, if you want to move this configuration to other client or other system, then you should use this TR. Now this TR is released. Copy this TR. And if you want to move this TR, there is a transaction called SCC1. SCC1 is the T code. You can put what is the source client 100. Put the TR. Click on start immediately. That will get started. Now I'm not able to move here because I have only one client, which is 100. I have only okay, I have 800. So let me select 800. If I start, this will ask, should I move? If I click on S, that will get moved. If I click on star S, then all the, you can see program ran successfully, and all the data, what is in the client 100 got moved to 800. Okay, so this is how we should use a TR. This is how the configuration is getting moved from one client to other client or one system to other system. Okay, so this is a system landscape. In the same way, we are going to have one more system, which we are going to call it as the quality. You can have n number of quality systems. How can you have n number of quality systems? The quality system will be only one. I can call it as EQ1, quality dev. Okay, but these are the different clients. You can have n number of clients in one system. So you will move the configuration from this system to this system. All the configuration what you have done here will get moved here, and everything will get appear here, and the testing is going to happen here. Then you will have the last system, which is called production system. This is only one system, only one client. And from where are you going to move the TR? Always the TR should move from the development system. If you are doing a configuration here, you are moving the TR to this system. You are doing testing here. If everything works here, you are not going to move the TR from this system. You are always going to move the TR from the development system that is also from 100. So this is how the system landscape looks. You will have three systems. One is the development, one is the quality, one is the production. In the development, you are going to do the configuration. In the quality system, you are going to do the testing. And the production system is a live system. Only business is going to have the access for this, no consultants. So this is how the system landscape looks. So if anyone asks, what was your landscape in your previous project? You can tell that we have a development system. We have development quality with a different client. That is one system. Then we had the quality system. In quality system, we had one or two systems for business doing the testing. And then we had one more system, which is production, which had only one client, which was the live system where only business had the access. So this is how the landscape of the SAP looks. So you will be working in this ED1, EQ1. You will not be working in the, I can call this as EP1 production. So you will not be working in EP1 system. You will be working only in ED1 system and EQ1 system. And you will have a dummy system, which is called as ES1. I can name it as ES1, which is sandbox. This is also a part of your landscape, but this is a dummy system. Okay. Any questions in this landscape?
Venkatesh, will it be only, can these changes be made, using a single system? Can I use it as a development and quality also, or will it be completely different?
Oh, it will be completely different. And one more thing, if anything is not working in quality system, you are not going to change anything in quality system. You are going to come back to the development system, do the changes in development system, and move the TR to the quality system for the changes. Okay.
So in quality, it's only for testing purpose. No amendments
No.
can be done.
No. The purpose of having the more quality system is in the cutover activities or the deploy phase. In the deploy phase, what we do is we do a mock rehearsals of the master data. So that you understand in the deploy phase. Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, after we do the pre-checks, that is nothing but you are completing the baseline configuration. You're going to do the remaining configurations. You're also going to work on the right part, that is custom things. Then parallelly, you are going to prepare the documents of the configuration. So why are we creating the documents for the configuration? So you are the consultant, you are building the configuration. Why should you prepare the documents? Now, for example, you are building the configuration documents. Sorry, you are doing the configuration. So there is no an agreement or there is no rule that a consultant is going to work with this project till end. You might get rolled off. You might change your company. So that depends. And if not, if you're still working on the project till end, After the go live, after business started using SAP, you should leave the business. So some other organization or some other consultants are going to take care of it. So they should know what is happened in system, how the system has been configured. So we should prepare the documents for each and every configuration what you have done. If you're creating enterprise structure, you should have a document with the screenshots of all the config screens. If you're going to create a plant, you should have a screenshot of it. So step by step, every configuration steps needs to be noted down in the document, so that if any other consultant is going to take over your role, or if any other consultant is going to give a support to the project, so they will have an idea what is happening in system. The second document what you're going to prepare is a test plan. So now you have configured the system, but business is new to the SAP system. So how they will know that what needs to be tested and how it needs to be tested. So first thing is you're going to prepare the test plan. You're going to mention when the system is going to be ready and what all are the scenarios should be tested on what date. And the third document is a test script. Test script is nothing but the instruction how the testing need to be done. So what do you mean by instruction? Instruction is nothing but, for example, if you're going to create a material, you need to build a script saying that the first step is to open SAP and log into the SAP. Second step, go to the transaction MM01. Third step, if you're using an internal number range, then leave it blank. If you're going to do an external number range, then enter the number. Select the industry sector, select the material type, and click on enter. Then input the plant, store location, click on enter. Fourth step, select the views of the material which need to be created. And each and every view, what we are filling, what is important needs to be explained in the test script. So that if business is going to do the testing, they will have an idea what all data needs to be done and how it needs to be created. Okay, that is the test script. Then the fourth document, what you're going to prepare is a training document. So now we have the documents in test script, how it need to be tested for the end users, but the testing is done by the SMEs. None of the end users, the buyers, or none of the master data governance team have an idea of the system. So if the business is big, they might have some 20 to 30 buyers. So you can't give the test script to business of 20 to 30 employees and ask them to test. So one person is going to test and confirm, and how the other persons are going to learn is based on the training document. You need to prepare the training document with the screenshot explaining with the word saying that this needs to be done. So that is the documents. User manual, how the system should be used, the SOP with the flow chart if required. Then these are the main documents what are prepared by the consultants. These all also can be created by the SMEs. So SOP, user manual, training documents, test script also in case. So the documents which consultant are responsible is the config documents, the functional spec. So what is this functional spec? We have the RICE, what I explained, we have report, we have interface, we have conversion, enhancements, everything going to happen on the custom things. So for that, consultant should gather the requirement from business and prepare a document to the technical consultant stating that this is the requirement from business and this is how you need to achieve. And technical consultant does not have idea what is planned, what is purchase org or anything. If you tell plant to the ABAPUS or technical consultant. If they're experienced, they will know. If you tell plant to a new technical consultant, he will not know. You should speak to the technical consultant in the language of tables and fields. So, for example, if you want to tell plant, then you should tell WERKS. That is nothing but plant for the technical consultant. So how can you find those is you can go to the transaction SE11, put a table. In this table, what all fields you have? This is the PO table. Okay, this is the PO header table. So you will have the company code, document type, vendor number. For vendor number also, you should not give the vendor number, you should give LFI and R. So you can use this. Okay, so this is one. And this is the technical specification. This is created by the ABAPus and the master data templates. So what are master data templates? Master data templates are nothing but you have a lot of master data in a legacy system. For example, you have thousands of material or thousands of vendors. You cannot go and create materials and vendors individually. So you need a template to upload them. So those templates are called as LSMW, migration cockpit. So this complete section, the master data templates, we'll be covering in the deploy phase, which we'll be taking tomorrow. So what happens in deploy phase? How are we going to create the templates? How are we going to upload? How the materials are going to get created using the template? So we will see live in system. So these are the important documents we prepare from our side and hand over to business because they will be using these documents whenever they have a new buyer getting onboarded. Okay. Apart from this, you do the configuration. As I mentioned, you will do the baseline configuration enterprise structure. First, you will build the enterprise structure. Then you're going to work only on your module specific configuration. When I say module specific, the master data, the P2P cycles, all are, if only you work, that is sufficient. Wherever you need other module help, those are called as non-module specific. That you're going to do in the build phase. Okay. Then you're going to, as I mentioned, you're going to create the config documents and you're going to do your unit testing. Okay. Then we are going to move to the build phase. In realize phase, you have a different phase which is called as build phase, and this comes under realize phase. So what is going to happen in this phase is the complete custom things, the complete custom configuration or custom development, what you're doing with the help of a ABAPer, that is going to get captured in the build phase. So you're going to sit with your ABAPers or developers and start building the custom things. So you should explain, you should have different sessions with SMEs, different sessions with developers to understand what is the mapping you should have between the legacy system to the SAP system. So you will have a lot of sessions with these people when you are in build phase. This is completely custom. Okay. Then the main part in realize phase is the testing. So the testing is divided into 4 categories. So the first category is a unit testing. So what is a unit testing? I already explained what is unit testing. A functional consultant will do his own testing if every configuration which he has done is working fine or not. Okay. Then you have the second part of testing, which is integration testing. Integration testing is done for non-standard concepts, what we have configured in system. For all non-standard configurations, what you have done in system, that is called as integration testing. Okay. Then you have the third type of testing, which is called as user acceptance testing, which is UAT testing. This is very, very important testing because this testing is not done by consultants. This testing is done by the business. When business is testing this, if they face any errors or if they are not able to complete the testing, if they face any error or any issues, they will not pass the test. They will fail the test and ask her to work us again. If the issues are small, then they will raise a defect. So I showed a tool called Zaira. I showed a tool called ALM Octane. So they will use the tools to create the defects. If they are not using any tools, then they will note down the defects in Excel and tell consultant that this is not working, this need to be reconfigured. So once the defect is solved, we are moving the defect to the closed bucket and we are going to ask the business to retest it. Once the testing is accepted by the business, only then the project is successful. If not, the project is a failure. We should start doing from beginning. Everything is dependent on this testing, which is called as user acceptance testing. This is done by the key user or an SME. We are going to give the training to the key user in this. How are they going to test? They are going to test based on the test script. So I said that in the documents, we are going to build the test plan here, test script, when the test should be conducted, how it should be conducted. They will follow these two documents and do the testing in this UAT. So what is the role of a consultant in this testing? The role of the consultant is to help the business to understand how the testing needs to be done. We need to support if there is any errors in the testing. If there is any issues, the defect need to be raised to the consultant. And consultant is going to work on the defects or issues and resolve the issues. And I also said that there is integration testing happening. And business also will test these integrations. If there is any issues in the integrations, then we need to coordinate with the ABAP to work on the issues regarding the integration. So this is the user acceptance testing, which is very, very important. Then we have the last type of testing, which is called as the regression testing. This regression testing is not done by the users or the business. And this testing is not done in the realize phase. This testing is done after the go live. Till now, the business is testing all the functionalities what we have implemented in the quality system. And if everything is fine, if they feel that everything is working fine, they will move the configuration to the production. Okay. If anything is not working fine, they are going to raise a defect and get that resolved. But by mistake, if business has already confirmed everything is working in UAT system, and if they give a go ahead and ask us to move it to production, we will move it to production. But when the business is working in production environment, if they face any issue there, if the system is getting corrupted or if the system is not working as expected, then a consultant also is going to enter there. And that part of testing is called as a regression testing. There might be some questions asking, are you worked on regression testing? The regression testing is nothing but the testing which is happening in the production. When I say you're going to do the testing in production, you are not going to do the testing in production directly. You are going to create a clone of your production environment. You're going to create a copy of your production environment to a dummy system, and you're going to do the testing there. And if everything is working well or fine, then you're going to do that or check that directly in production. If anything is not working fine, then you're going back to the development, doing the changes there, and move the TR to production. Okay, the regression testing is not required if it is scratch implementation. And this regression testing is done only the production system is live. Okay, and you're going to replicate the process system in a dummy system and do the testing there. Okay, so this is the regression testing. And we have one more thing which is called as positive negative testing. So this is not done in most of the cases. This is done only for the access part. So for example, we are going to ask one person to create a PU. If he is able to create, then that is a positive case. And we are also asking other person who should not supposed to create a PO, asking him to create a PO. If he is not able to create, then it is a positive case. If he is still able to create, then that is a negative case. That is completely for access part. Okay. Testing plays very, very important role in the realize phase. Testing is going to, if the business is big, the testing is going to happen approximately for 3 to 4 months. If the business is small, then the testing is going to happen at least for 2 months. After business test everything, and if they give a go or a sign off from their side, only then all the configuration what we have done will get moved to the production. If they say anything is not working, then the transport request will not move to the production environment and the go live will be postponed. Okay, so testing plays very, very important role in this phase. Any questions?
Yes, Venkatesh. Coming to this testings, all testings will be happen in same environment or different environments?
Everything is going to happen in the same environment, which is I mentioned here in EQ1 system, this environment.
Okay. And what is the performance testing?
Performance testing is that is done by the developers or developers, checking the performance. If, for example, if the load is more, for example, a business is using a business is a big business, and they have nearly lakhs together of materials, and lakhs together of transaction is happening per day. In that case, if the transaction is happening in this much of load, will the system able to take that load? Should we increase the database? Should we increase the random access of that system or what? So that is the performance testing that is done completely by the basis team.
And can you bit clearly explain on positive negative testing since I never heard about this one?
Sorry, which one?
Positive and negative testing.
Yeah, positive negative testing is nothing but, for example, think that you are a buyer. If you are a buyer, you should be able to create only POs. You should not be able to create a sales order. If you are able to create a sales order, then that is a negative case, because you should not be able to create a sales order. Then there is an issue with the roles. Then they need to go and correct your roles. If you are not able to create a sales order, then that is the role which need to work as is. So checking the roles and responsibilities is done by the positive negative testing.
Okay.
Because if a person is having all the access, if he's able to create a PO, if he's able to create a sales order, then that is a mess. So the person who is a buyer, he should only have access for the PO creation. If the person who is working in a sales, he should have access to create only sales orders. The person who is going to work in master data governance, he should be able to create only master data. So that part of testing is called as positive negative testing.
Okay.
Any questions? Any more questions? Okay. If no questions, then the last part in the regression in the realization phase is the roles and authorization. So this is similar to the positive negative testing. So what I mentioned regarding the positive negative testing, you can take it as same as the roles and authorization. So the person who is going to work on in the individual team should have only that part of access. And this roles and authorization is going to set up by the basis team or the infrastructure team. But the testing should be done by the end users with the help of the consultants. So this is the roles and authorization testing. Okay. Any questions? In the meanwhile, I thought of covering one more thing. Let me open that.
Venkatesh, I have a doubt on this one. Roles and authorizations. Is it UAM and this roles and authorization any relation between these both?
Oh, what do you mean by UAM?
User access management.
Yes, but we don't call them as user access management now. We call it as roles and authorization, or we call them as business roles.
Okay.
Any questions?
In this testing phase, uh, which and all part we will be involved, MM consultants or senior MM consultants,
In all the phases. Sorry, in all the
all the
testing scenarios.
all the testing channel.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So let me try to cover something regarding the TR. So we discussed what is TR. And I've shown how the TR looks in system. But I forgot to mention what are the different types of TR in our SAP. So full form of TR is a transport request. And we have two types of TR. One is the customized TR. One is a workbench TR.
Venkatesh, we are unable to see your screen.
I'm sharing it. Is it visible now?
Not yet for me.
Yes, visible for us.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay. So transport requests have two types. One is the customized TR, one is the workbench TR. So what is the difference between this customized TR and the workbench TR? So customized TR is nothing but the config which is independent. I can call it as independent. The configuration independent for specific client. That is called as the customized TR. When I say independent, so I took an example here. We have this system, sorry. We have this system, development system, which is client 100. This is development quality, which is 140. So when I do the configuration here in 100, that is not going to get captured in any of the client. That is independent for this client. If you want to move, you should move the TR from this client to this client. That is a customized TR. And if you want to move it to quality, then same. Move from here to here. Move from here to here. Move again from here to here. So always the TR movement should happen from this 100 client to this client or any system. But you have the second type of TR, which is called as a workbench TR. Workbench TR is nothing but if you're doing a configuration in this client 100, you don't want to move this to the another client which is in a single system. So here you have this box, and under this you have two clients. If you're doing customized TR, then this TR needs to be moved manually. If it is a workbench TR, you don't want to move it. Whenever you create any configuration in one client, that is going to automatically create another client. So that is not the system dependent, or that is not done by the consultant. So that depends on the configuration. For example, if you're creating a plant, if you're creating any configuration, that is always going to store in a customized TR. There is only specific configuration like access sequence. This also can be entered equation. The text functionality. So these two configurations are going to get captured any, or you can tell any config getting stored in table level is going to get captured in the workbench TR. If I show the difference in system, so now we created purchase org. Let me go back. 8765. So 8765. I'm deleting this. I'm saving this. Okay, it did not create any TR. It is not showing TR because we are in the same screen. I'm going to save this. So here, if you see, it is called as customizing TR, customizing request. So this is the customizing request. This, if you're going to create this in this system or this client, you should manually move this config to the other client also. Okay. Now, if I create access sequence, or if I'm going to create a text, for example, I can go to material management, purchasing, a purchase order. I go to text. Okay. And if I'm going to create the linkage, and if I save this is also customizing. Okay. Now here, whenever you're executing the config, if you get this screen, the table is a cross client. Any data which is getting stored in the cross client is a workbench TR. You don't want to move this from client to client. You can directly move it from system to system. So I go inside. if I create anything, there is already an entry. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me delete something. Okay. If I delete this, the program is getting terminated. Or let me show an access sequence. Okay. So here, I'll delete this. Oh, shit. Okay. If I delete this, and if I try to save, I'm getting a workbench request. And the TR is different with a different name. So this workbench request, I don't want to move it to the different client. I can directly move it to the different system. So these are the different types of transport request what we have in SAP. Okay. So let me cancel this. Any questions here? And this workbench TR is specifically for the cross-client table. So for example, it is for text functionality, access sequence. We have seen only two text functionality and access sequence in MM. So these two tables are for cross-client. And there might be some other cross-client table for other modules. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Fine. If no questions, so this is what is going to happen in the realize phase. And tomorrow we'll see how the deploy phase works, the last phase in the implementation phases. And we're also going to see how are we going to mask load the master data in system. Okay. If no questions, we will wrap up the session here. And we'll meet tomorrow morning to discuss on the level 1 topic. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you, Vantish.